It is commonly understood that Veterans Day originated in 1918 at the end of World War I, when the guns fell silent on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. But I firmly believe that Veterans Day didn't begin 101 years ago, but it started 399 years ago. Because on November 11th, 1620, the veterans of a 66-day journey across the treacherous northern Atlantic Ocean were in the midst of the safety of Plymouth Harbor. And before they set foot on dry ground, they wrote our nation's first constitution, known as the Mayflower Compact. And in part, this is what it said: "We solemnly and mutually, in the presence of God and one another, covenant and combine ourselves together into a civil body politic, for our better ordering and preservation and furtherance of the ends aforesaid." Their power in service and as veterans was to covenant and combine themselves together. And their ability to accomplish their mission was because they served together. 156 years later, 56 men signed our Declaration of Independence. And they ended that amazing document that was inspired by the Mayflower Compact with these words of integration and togetherness. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Their power in service came from that mutual pledge as veterans to mutually pledge to each other lives, fortunes, and sacred honor. And they were able to accomplish their mission because they served together. 139 years later, in the midst of World War I, the continent of Europe experienced a super bloom. Poppies grew throughout the battlefield there in 1915 and on the hastily dug graves of our fallen soldiers. And there was a doctor and a soldier who had presided over the funeral of a friend and colleague who wrote this poem, "In Flanders Fields." In Flanders fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If you break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. That charge from our fallen comrades was for us to continue to keep faith with them and their service and with one another, because their power in service and their powers as veterans stemmed from keeping faith with one another. And they were able to accomplish their mission because they did it by serving together. 100 years ago today, President Wilson gave a speech on the one-year anniversary of the end of World War I. And in part, this is what he said: "Out of this victory, there arose new possibilities of political freedom and economic concert. The war showed us the strength of great nations acting together for high purposes, and the victory of arms foretells the enduring conquest which can be made in peace when nations act justly and in furtherance of the common interests of men. To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service, and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of nations." According to Wilson, our power and our strength came from acting together in high purposes. That's true of a nation. That's true of sailors, soldiers, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, and Merchant Marines, and it's certainly true of veterans. The power of acting together in high purposes. This weekend, of course, celebrates Veterans Day, but it also is an opportunity to celebrate the 244th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. I figured you would say that. In the halls of the Pentagon, there is a quarter that shows a portrait and a picture of every commandant of the Marine Corps, except one of them is different from the rest. The fourth, Commandant Anthony Gale, didn't earn or deserve a picture or portrait. There's just simply an empty silhouette recognizing he was the commandant, though he served not faithfully, but dishonorably. And so there is that empty silhouette representing his service of unfaithfulness. Those that are assembled here as veterans have undoubtedly served faithfully. But sometimes as veterans, it's easy to feel like a faceless, nameless silhouette. But I want those veterans and their families that are assembled here under the sound of my voice to take away a couple of important truths. The veterans community here in the Aerospace Valley is thriving because you are serving together. And if you are a veteran, you should stand tall, you should stand proud, and undoubtedly, you must continue to stand together. Because in order for us to accomplish our mission here in this community and here in this country and for one another, then we need to remember our sacred common bond, and everything that we do, we must continue to do it serving faithfully together. Thank you so very much, and happy Veterans Day.